Warning. The Dragon Between podcast may contain language and adult humor that is unsuitable for those 13 years and younger. Viewer discretion is advised. You're listening to the Dragon Between podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign that takes place in the Eberron pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. New episodes are recorded every Sunday and are released on the following week. You can find the video version on the YouTube channel. And if you like what you see and hear, feel free to drop us a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and news on the podcast. Thank you for listening, and now on with the show. When we last met, the group had set to the task of distributing the wealth that they had obtained from the Astral Vault, dealing with the issue of the copious amount of coin by utilizing Eli's friend from the plane of Serania. After obtaining a magical means of securing the coin, the group headed up out of the cave system to join Harak for a late dinner and also bear witness to a funeral pyre set for Vrexul, the Fallen. As the party observed the various creatures of the swamp seeming to arrive and bear witness to this funeral, an unusually stealthy individual appeared out of a cloud of cascading leaves, identified by Harak as an individual named Darek. This person paid respects to Vrexul and then gave the group a warning, informing them of their transgressions against an individual the person referred to as the Forest Queen. However, the individual, although starting off on a more angry foot, this individual explained to the group that they would not receive any sort of resistance from the swamp denizens themselves, and the creatures of the swamp would allow them safe passage through the rest of the time that they dwelled within the Shadow Marches. After that, this individual disappeared once again into a cascade of leaves, leaving the group to finish out the rest of their evening, accomplishing what tasks that they needed. The decision was made to protect Ganama's boat from any potential nighttime attacks, considering the most recent history. And in the morning, the group split up, as half of the group went back to the Grove of the Ebon Mother to visit Harak and obtain a greater restoration spell for Lithana. As Harak prepared the spell and did the verbal and somatic components, Lithana found herself seeing a programmed image of a living tornado ringed with golden eyes, speaking to her directly, referring to her children. This programmed image seeming to issue a challenge to her to come and find him. Lithana, as your head is now pounding, this overwhelming feeling of nausea grips you, and you hear this echoing, booming voice in your mind saying, "Come and find me, come and find me," trailing off. And for those of you who are present with Harak and Lithana, you watch as Lithana Aisha falls backwards, unconscious.
Zeta will try and catch Latana so she doesn't hurt herself on her way down.
Okay. She was pretty much in a kneeling position, so she wouldn't necessarily hurt herself. She might be a little uncomfortable if she smacked her head on the cavern floor. You could very easily say that you were able to quickly rush up and sort of cushion her with your body. She almost flattens you. It's like when you see a dog try to like run under you or between your legs, and then they get caught.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that to happen.
Doesn't hurt. It's just a bit uncomfortable to feel the full weight of Lithana on your diminutive form. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Auri, Eli, and Zito were present with Lithana, and everyone else was back at the boat. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound correct?
Yes.
I think that sounds right.
Okay, I believe that Red did not come along. I could be wrong. We can retcon and say that you're here, Red, if you want.
I'll keep her on the boat.
Okay. So you're watching. Harak is just sort of. He hasn't really given any sense that this is an out of the ordinary reaction to this spell. He's just looking on at her sort of quizzically, tilting his head slightly cocked to the side.
What happened to her? Do you know that?
Who are you referring to?
Talking to Harak.
Okay. Harak, who was staring at Lithana, and he sets his mortar and pestle aside and starts to lean forward and grab her forearm, and you watch as his big meaty hand clasps around her forearm and presses down in a place, and then he begins to pull her forward, and he reaches up with the other hand and puts it on the side of her left temple and presses, and Lithana's eyes begin to blink open as Lithana, you now come to consciousness. Splitting headache, a migraine. You are feeling something or someone behind you of a diminutive form, and you're seeing Harak, who has his big meaty turtle hand on the side of your face, and he's holding your arm as if to steady you.
Whoa. The room is spinning for me. Hi. I guess I'm awake now.
What happened to you?
It was the strangest thing. I could see myself. You remember when we were in the vault? It looked like we were in another plane of existence with space stuff everywhere. You remember that?
You mean the vault that we just came out of?
Yes. It was a lot like that, but it was more. I don't know, it almost felt like sleeping, but like a dreaming.
Or perhaps a memory.
But it was like a galaxy. It was so hard to explain, but there was a voice. And I'm pretty sure it's the voice that was the one who put me in this place in the first place. The one that Tamir's sister mentioned, the one who... I'm beginning to wonder if he's the one behind all of this after all.
Why are you thinking that, Lithana?
Well, I don't know, just suddenly all the pieces start to connect together. The Oisha mansion, the Castellanthers taking over, the colonization and weapons provision in the swamp area. What happened to Ari? And Zito, for you, the people have disappeared. It's suddenly, I don't know. It's all kind of just flooding back. Maybe. Oh, my head hurts.
Maybe we can make some more connections on the boat.
Yes, I think I need a really long nap.
Yeah, it's a strange sensation to you, Lufana. Even after a good night's rest, you feel as though you have been running, like you've been sprinting at full speed for several minutes. Your whole body aches. Your lower back is hurting. Your shoulders are hurting like you haven't stretched in a while. And you just have this dull pain, this stinging sensation in the side of your head. And you feel the sting, and you also feel numbness in your extremities and your fingertips. It's like that sensation when you accidentally sleep on your arm and you get the pins and needles. And it's just all throughout your extremities. And Harak looks to you and says, "Oh, perhaps some rest might be just what you need."
I attempt to stand up. Can I walk okay?
You're a little dizzy, but you're able to rise up and move about the cavern.
She kind of closes her eyes and like shakes her head as if to get something out of her ears. Harak, thank you so much. What may I do to repay your kindness?
Well, if you happen to come across any of my order in your travels, please let them know that I am fine and that I am returning to Arganessen.
Okay. I can do that. We can do that. You're returning to Argamessen, is that right?
Yes, it is my home. It's where I grew up before I came to Corvair. Unfortunately, the Grove will cease to be a sanctuary for the Order. With Rexul gone and the vault destroyed, as you say, there's no need for this place anymore. I will instruct the wardens to destroy the entrance to prevent any from accidentally entering and becoming trapped, or potentially despoiling this place.
Wow. Well, I think
Where is Artemisin?
Arganessen is a continent which is south of Corvair. There's other continents in Eberron. There is the distant continent of Sarlona to the far east. There is Arganessen and Auronal, which are sort of southeastern, almost directly south from Corvair, and then to the southwest there is the continent of Zendrick.
So, well, if we're heading that direction, you're welcome to take the boat with us, but I don't think we're heading south anymore.
No, that is perfectly all right. I have my own means of travel. I appreciate the offer, though. You all have been great friends to me in the past few days. Is there anything that I can do for any of you before you take your leave?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
I think we're good. Thank you very much. I think you did everything that you need, that we would like you to do.
And I will give a parting word to Ari. I think she was rather fond of you.
Auri is
Oh,
unusual.
she's right there.
Auri is.
Sorry.
She looks to you, sort of meekly, says, "Hi," and is her typical, very quiet, and she just sort of takes Harok's hand and moves off to a farther section of the chamber and begins speaking to him privately. And what are the rest of you doing? Eli, I believe I read that you were trying to slip away.
Yes.
Roll a stealth check. We'll see.
Do I get advantage because everyone's distracted by Lathana?
No. Okay. So Lathana, you notice a distinct lack of Eli. Auri also noticed, but she's busy with Harok. Zito, you did not notice Eli leaving, but Lathana, you most definitely noticed Eli slipping away as you were coming up, bringing yourself up, looking around the chamber. You could see the familiar form of Eli Stormbringer there, and then suddenly, thinking that he's stealthily moving away from you all to another section of the grove. And he, do you do anything or respond to his I'm asking Lathana. Lathana, do you do anything to his lack of being there? He essentially walked away from you guys as you were talking to Harok. So what are you doing while you're away there, Eli? You have essentially like a few moments to yourself as you're walking away from your companions.
Want to go a little bit away where no one can hear me.
It's a big cavern.
Like a cove that I can enter in.
What are you trying to do?
Is there like a cove like I can go off that they can like away from the rest of the group?
You rolled a stealth check, so that you've been noticed that you walked away. So at this point, you have a few moments to do something in whatever part of the chamber you went to. It's a big cavern.
Yes, but am I far enough where I can't be heard?
You don't know.
Then I'll keep walking.
Okay. Well then, you continue to walk away to the other side of the chamber. Lathana, are you doing anything?
Her eyes follow him for a bit, but she says nothing.
Lathana, can we fix your microphone? Because I can barely hear you.
Lathana's eyes follow him, but she says nothing.
Okay, you watch as he is continuing to walk away. And what are you doing, Zito? I would say at this point, you didn't notice him. You didn't notice him walk away. You do notice now that he is no longer there where you were all sitting by the fire with Harok previously.
Well, maybe Eli went back to the ship.
To the boat?
Back to the boat.
Okay. And what are you doing, Eli?
I will walk, and so no one can hear me far, far away from the group.
Again, you don't know that. So
I'll just keep walking.
You tell me how far away you want to go and where you want to go, and then you tell me what you want to do, and we'll see if anyone observes or notices.
I want to walk into like a different room, like a different cove.
Okay. There's other there's
100
other
feet away.
chambers. There's the chamber that you all went to distribute the items.
Yes, I'll go there.
You're gonna go to that chamber? Okay.
Yeah, it's like what? That's like 200 feet.
And what would you like to do in said chamber?
I will. Excuse me, my friend. I'd like that wish.
Are you talking to yourself or to the wall?
I'm talking to the wall.
Okay. Just talking out loud to yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing happens.
Ah, fine. I'll send a message to him.
Okay. What do you say in your message?
Hey, remember, it's your bro Eli. I'm ready for the wish.
In response, you hear, "Now is not a good time. Is this dreadfully important that it must happen now?"
I have to, you may have to send another. All right, I'll send another spell.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be right now, but soon it would be preferred.
And in response, you hear, "I will try later on today, if I can." And what he means essentially is a day in regards to time on Eberron, not a day in regards to Serania.
And then we'll head back to the group.
Okay. You also, the voice sounded out of breath. Which is odd because you've never heard this individual sound out of breath before. And as you head back out of the antechamber, back into the main large cavernous chamber of the grove, you see the familiar side of your friends. Auri has just finished talking to Harak and has rejoined you all. Harak seems to be just sort of moseying off in the distance. Since none of you appear to have anything further for him, he appears to be tending to his morning rituals and his morning routine.
I want to send one more message.
Okay. Are you doing that as you're walking back? Okay.
I will ask him, is everything okay? Do you need our help?
That's all you ask him?
Yes.
In response, again, the voice sounds out of breath, which is, again, odd to you because you didn't know that Jinn could be out of breath. It says, "Everything is fine. I will see you later."
Eli looks a little bit worried now, but he'll walk back to the group.
Okay. Zito, Lithana, and Auri now see Eli has wandered back to you all next to the campfire, next to the section of this chamber where a ribbon of light from the morning sky is illuminating the interior of the cavern in this space.
Where'd you come from, Eli? I thought you went back to the boat.
Oh, I decided to come back. It's kind of scary to go outside, you know. All those creatures out there.
Lathana gives him that one eyebrow arched look. And she just kind of bows towards Harak. As just suddenly memories are just flowing back to her, and she's a little out of breath, but she says, "But I think we best be going on our journey. But you have been so kind to us." And she puts a hand on his shoulder. "I will not forget this."
It's fine. I wish you all a good journey.
Lefana looks to Ari and Zito and Eli and says, well, shall we make our way back to the ship?
Let's go. And Zito will make his way back to the ship.
Okay.
Lefana right after.
Eli will follow.
And Auri will as well. Doesn't take you too long to ascend the spiral cut staircase back up to the surface of the entrance of this place. And as you all begin to move away along the edge of the river, you can hear now the sound of this cacophonous sound of stone on stone. As the larger elemental, the earth elemental that was the capstone to the entrance to this place, is now settling down back into it. And you watch as its body just sort of contorts and folds into the natural rocky face of that section, that overlook. And you can now see the hut, which was festooned upon its head, settles now once again in the same spot that it was before. And you all eventually make your way back down to the familiar site of Ganama's boat. Music, Red and Ender see you all walking along the water's edge towards the boat, and Ganama calls out from behind them, "Well, are y'all about ready?"
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's get going.
Yes, I believe we are already.
Well, I'm about ready to cast off, so if y'all would please... I would assume that you all grabbed the kids before you left the grove, that you didn't leave them behind.
I assume Red did that.
Okay, I'm just going to say that Red already had the kids. How about that?
We all assume and then just forget the kids.
No.
Oh no. That's so mean.
I think she already grabbed the kids.
Okay. Well,
Or-
in that case, as you all come up, you see this familiar sight of these two toddlers, just like little spider monkeys, are just chasing each other over the torso of Red, running around her like comically, like a cartoon. And one by one, you all enter or board the catamaran boat.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would like to accomplish in this place before she casts off and begins heading up the river?
Zeta will take out the sending stone.
The sending stone?
Or the speaking stone.
Ah, the speaking stone. Okay. It's big. It's about the size
She's
of
just gonna,
it's about half the size of your torso.
Zeta is just gonna study it for a while and see if he can figure out how it works.
So you're doing that while you're on the boat, or you're doing that before you board, is what I was curious.
Oh, I'm on the boat.
Okay, so that's what you're doing while you're on the boat. No, I was just wondering if any of you wanted to do something physically here on the shore.
Red is content watching the children.
Okay. All right, then. Ganama casts off. The boat begins to move in a northwestern pattern up the wide river. Has been steadily becoming more narrow as you've gone further north, as you're getting towards the outskirts of the crawling swamp. So Zito, you are spending the rest of the day studying the speaking stone. What are the rest of you doing? Eli, what are you doing?
I guess Eli will be just reading and waiting
Okay.
for his so they contact him.
What about you, Luthana?
Hey, does anyone have a good bottle of whiskey, liquor, something strong?
I got this love potion.
That is pretty strong.
Anyone else?
Ghanima looks at you and says, I got you. And she reaches behind a crate, pulling aside a panel to a compartment that none of you had noticed before, and pulls out a wide mouth bottle, long neck, thick base, the very dark red liquid inside. The bottle itself is sort of an amber color, so you're not quite sure the exact color of the liquid. And she pops the top off of it and offers it to you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like a swig? Or a cupful? Red? Music?
I've got my own, and I'm gonna hold up. What's that? Kirsten's ooze. Grin at her.
This one does not like things that slow her reflexes.
That's fair. Nirvana will just start chugging the whole bottle.
Okay.
And sit in the corner and just rub her head.
Okay. It is strong. It is some sort of mulled wine. It's spicy. It tastes like alcoholic cinnamon. The best way I could describe it, it basically tastes like a much more cinnamon fireball whiskey. And it burns your throat, your sinuses, everything, all your sinus passages. It just burns. It tastes wretched and foul, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. Okay, surprisingly, Luthana, you're holding your own with this. As you're downing this, nearly drinking half of the bottle in one go. Red, you said you're just spending time with the kids?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Music? What are you doing? Since your companions have returned and this watercraft has now begun taking you all northwest.
I've noticed that whenever I play music, the ooze in the jar tends to move around a little more erratically. So I'm playing all kinds of songs right now to see if it's actually dancing.
Okay. I'll tell you what, make an investigation check. You definitely saw the vibrations. The vibrations, you're not entirely certain if it's the proximity of you to the glass jar and the sounds that are emerging from your instrument or yourself for that matter. But you can definitely see whatever this substance is, it's moving around and no discernible pattern. You're not sure if it's just the vibrations from the instrument or if potentially it is moving of its own accord. And as you continue to study it further, you can see now that as you get closer to the jar, it gets closer to you. Like part of the surface, like a bit of it begins to rise up, and like a little pseudopod reaches up and touches the inside of the glass in your direction.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I think he likes your music.
I think he likes all of us.
Another thing that you're noticing, Music, is that you are completely covered from head to toe in lightning bugs. Since you've been annihilating them, they just keep coming back. So much so that you are positively glowing. It's like an intermittent, almost radioactive green glow. And no matter what you do to try and eliminate this pest problem, they keep coming back. So as of right now, if you need to make a stealth check, you will be rolling at disadvantage.
Kind of like a living armor.
That's awesome.
Looks like your friends have returned.
I wonder if they'll change lights in accordance to the music. I'm gonna set up a few illusions and see if they get down with it.
Lithana's like, do it.
Yeah, as you, if any of you observing music as he moves about in the areas on the catamaran, you watch as the clouds of lightning bugs, some of them crawling on him, some of them are flying around in a cloud around his head, around his shoulders.
You know, now that I've been with them for so long, they're not so bad. Not as bad as I thought they were.
And Ghanima looks in your direction, and throughout the course of the first few hours being back on the Glum River, and looks at you, Music, and says, I believe that you all have a pest problem. I've never in my life seen lightning bugs do that. What did you get into? Clearly, you must have rubbed up against a bush or something that they're attracted to.
What can we say, Ganama? We're attractive. Get it?
I think they like my music.
And each of you in the group has your very own. You would have all noticed over the course of a few hours that you all have your own individual lightning bug that seems to follow you wherever you move to within this place. And Red, you noticed that the two little ones also have lightning bugs. And
I would try to eat one.
the little boy has been desperately trying to grab and eat one. Yes, but just can't quite catch it. Every so often you watch those chubby little arms clasp together. You think that bug is gone, and it's flying out of its hands once again.
Zito will try and catch the lightning bug and put it in his empty potion bottle.
It takes you a little while, but you're able to catch it and put it in. You said you have a bottle?
An empty potion bottle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's inside the bottle. Are you going to give it some air, or are you just going to leave it in there?
I'm working on that.
Okay.
I'll poke a small hole in the cork stopper that'll give it some air.
Okay. The catamaran continues up the river for quite some time. It's very peaceful. You hear the sounds of the water, the waves, the lapping sound of the river, the chugging noise of the dual dragon shard infused engine, the arcane engine of the catamaran, and you all speeding along up the river towards the swamp, and you make incredible time. And if there's nothing else that you would all like to do on this day, we can progress time.
Yeah, Red's just gonna spend some time with her new sword too.
Okay.
While the time progresses.
I'll identify the potion Nathana gives me.
Okay. It's in your inventory. You want me to identify that for you? I gotta find it. Where is it?
Oh, I just put it in the party inventory.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Let me look in party inventory. Party loot. Let's see. The pink potion you are the purple. It's actually a purple liquid with a pink cloud floating in it. It is a potion of mind reading. When you drink this potion, you gain the effect of the Detect Thoughts spell. And it has been identified.
Yes, Lethana, this is what it does. And Eli kind of hands it to her and he goes back to his book.
While Eli's busy, Zito will take a look at that silver book that he has.
Okay. Did you want to identify it?
Yes.
Okay. There is... At any point in time in the day, Zito, you're able to perform the ritual of it to identify this item. And you remember hearing it referred to as a grimoire. This is the Grimoire Infinitus. Several of them were created by the dragons during the Age of Demons. It has an infinite number of pages and is 3 inches thick, 8 inches wide, 12 inches long, and weighs 3 pounds. Right now, most of it is blank, but there are some spells which are recorded in the first 2 pages. Alarm, Anti-Magic Field, Big B's Hand, Blight, Charm Person, Confusion, Control Weather, Create Undead, Detect Thoughts, Enlarge Reduce, Fear, Foresight, Gaseous Form, Glyph of Warding, Legend Lore, Leoman's Tiny Hut, Mass Suggestion, Mislead, Misty Step, Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound, Prismatic Spray, Ray of Enfeeblement, Silent Image, Teleport, and Thunderwave. You may use this grimoire as a spellbook, and you can scribe new spells into it as normal. And when you prepare your spells using the grimoire, the number of wizard spells you can prepare increases by 1. You must also be attuned to it in order to use it in this way.
Or you can go into someone else have to read all of this.
Okay. And again, essentially, this is a magic item that grows with you as you gain in levels. So a spellcaster who uses this as their spellbook and is attuned to it, the more you use it, the higher in levels you get, the more becomes unlocked. It essentially is an item that grows and becomes more powerful. Right now, it's in its dormant state with all of these spells, which I've just recited for you. So you're focusing on the book. Anyone else doing anything during the day?
No.
I mean, Lethana will just chat with music and get to know him a bit.
Yeah, we named Kira's ooze Penelope, and we've been feeding it lightning bugs.
Interesting.
Lethana is really enjoying this, since she's kind of half drunk.
I would say you're pretty much full drunk at this point.
She's on music's arm. She's put the pipe in his mouth.
Music is accessing this alcoholic subroutine, and he's playing along perfectly.
Yeah. Okay. Red, you're continuing to keep the kids company? Keep them from falling off the boat?
Yeah.
Auri and Ender are tending to their own activities. And Eli, what are you doing?
Eli's reading his book
Okay.
by himself, away from the group.
Okay. Well, I mean, the ship isn't enormous, But there are places that you could go away from them. You could sit up top if you wanted to.
Yes, away from the children.
Okay. All right. Time passes. The evening approaches. You're all able to stop for the evening and consume some rations to keep your strength up if you wish.
No, I'm good.
Except for music.
I'll have music share though.
Okay.
He is a growing kobold.
It's true. He is a growing kobold.
It's a splendid idea.
And did you all want to set a watch for the evening?
I'll keep an eye out after Lathana passes out.
Lathana's already out cold.
Yeah, at this point, Lathana has been snoozing for a while, possibly snoring very loudly.
I made her as comfortable as possible, and I'm just keeping an eye out.
Okay.
You'll also keep an eye out. It's like the first watch.
Okay. All right. Owry and Ender will take the second watch. And who wants to take the third watch?
Brad will take the third watch.
All right. Well, with that, I will go ahead and mark you all as taking another long rest. Quiet nights. You hear some thunderheads in the distance. There's some the sound of a potential storm brewing, but nothing manifests where you are now. In the morning, Ganama sets out once again, and she informs each of you that she is quite certain that she will be reaching the point on which Red explained to her is where they need to, where you all need to get off of her boat and begin slogging through the swamp towards the deep wood, which is where the settlement is located, which she described to you all. And a few more hours into it, you find yourselves coming across a narrow bayou that seems to lead off from the river to the northeast. And at this point, you can all see that there is what appears to be a very old rickety dock that Ganama ties off the catamaran to. There's a rusted old lantern hanging from a post nearby, which is not lit. And you can all see this dock just sort of leads off a bit, and then nothing. No settlement, no outpost. Just the ever expanse of mangrove-like trees that lead off seemingly into infinity and beyond. In response to your question, Eli, no, there was none. No response.
You said a day. Interesting.
Did you?
Guess the day's not over.
Did you wish to reach out?
Well, he said a day, so I will, trust that it is within the time of 24 hours. It hasn't been 24 hours yet.
Okay. Technically, it is.
Oh, it has?
It's been beyond. It's about midday right now. It's about your best guess. It's about 11 a.m.
Right at 24 hours, Eli will send a message.
Okay.
Hey, my friend.
So when you woke up, before you all reached the dock, you wanted to send a message?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you say?
Hey, my friend. Did you mean my day or your day?
And you receive back, after a moment, the following. I am so sorry I could not get away from a task that I was accomplishing. I can be with you this afternoon.
And Eli will take that, and that is good. He will not
Okay.
send another message. He will not bother him again.
Okay. At the dock, Red, you see this as a very familiar site. There are many bayous and that go off of the main waterway of the Glum River as it continues to go north and then northwest and then arc around northeast a bit until eventually the Glum, twisting through the crawling swamp, eventually ends. This being a familiar place to you, this would be a marker that you are familiar with, that you would know that if you began heading northeast from this point, you would eventually reach Hartham. And it's a bit strange to you. There is, near that post, where there is the lantern, which is not lit, normally there is a bag there which contains missives, folks that travelers would leave notes, and sometimes there would be instructions or warnings about potential dangers, things that people had seen. This is a common practice amongst your shifter community. That bag is missing.
Yeah, so Red would probably go kind of look in the nearby vicinity to see if maybe it's, fallen, was carried off somewhere close by.
Okay. You can make a perception check. Or just use your passive if you like. I would say for something like this, though, you would definitely want to roll a perception, which at 24 is an excellent. You find a little ways off from this place what appear to be very, very large tracks. And you find what appears to be someone's traveling bag that has been shredded, and it looks like it was hastily shoved under some underbrush near one of the mangrove-like trees. And the tracks seem to head off in the to the northeast, in the direction of where you would have begun to lead your companions towards Hartham.
So I'd go pick up that shredded bag, and take it back to the group.
Okay.
This one feels unease. There are large tracks heading to Hartholm. And I found this as if someone was attacked.
Yeah, this bag is rifled through. It looks, it's damp, obviously, from being on the ground. But it looks like it hasn't been here for very long. Like most of what you find inside of it, even though a lot of it is damaged, seems pretty new.
Cool. And I'd point back from where I came from with the tracks. This one can track the thing that did this. We should make haste.
Can Lithana see the tracks?
Lithana, with your passive of 17, with a little bit of assistance from Red pointing it out to you, you can see the some very deep impressions in the soft peat-like mud.
And can I see when Red takes Lithana back over there, if it would be anything I could identify, make a survival check or something, or nature?
Make a nature check.
Lithana's wondering the same thing, so maybe we can.
So you can
cover.
make it with advantage if you like. Definitely want that advantage.
So 18.
18. This is most definitely not an animal. These tracks appear to, you can clearly make out toes that are similar into the form of a humanoid, like a human possibly. 5 toes, big feet. You get a sense that whatever this thing is, it's tall and wide. It has a very wide gait.
So I'd look to Lathana. This one has never seen an animal like this. It looks almost humanoid, like all of us, but big and wide.
Alright, well, time to let everyone know. Zito, Eli, Music, Ender, Ari, here's what's up.
What's up?
Tall humanoid creature thing heading towards Hartham where we're heading, so just be warned. Not sure whether it's a beast, a human, or a construct.
I think I'll have to be on the lookout then.
Shall we continue?
Ghanima at this point, she's been paying attention, and as she all watches you stepping away with a purpose, she waves to you all and says, "It was my absolute pleasure bringing you here. I do hope that you all find what you're looking for, and please take care of yourselves."
This one is grateful for you, Captain of Ships. And I bow my head to her.
Lathana follows.
And she continues to now, grinning at you all, she begins to make preparations on unhooking from the post and beginning to guide the catamaran away from this dock, away from the bayou, back to the river proper. And you all watch as her catamaran ship begins to disappear into the distance. And as it does, there is another sound of those thunderheads in the distance, and the sky has increasingly beginning to get grayer, as if there is potentially a storm on the way.
Well, it looks like it's going to rain. Might as well kind of hurry up.
And what time is it again?
Well, you arrived here about 11, so it's not that far or long after that. And there is the ear-splitting sound of thunder. And it begins to rain.
But I can't say I know this area very well, but I know my my way around tracking things and the wilderness, so I'm happy to lead if you are willing to follow.
Yes, I will follow.
So you're all now creating essentially your order. So who is first? Lathana is?
Sure.
Okay. And then who's going after Lathana?
Ender.
You want Ender?
Yes.
Okay.
Eli will follow behind Ender.
Eli will be after Ender. Okay.
I'll be behind Eli.
Right behind Eli. All right.
And then maybe put Audrey and then Red in the back to guard the back.
Okay.
With music in between Red and Ari.
Okay.
If music wants.
If music wants to. Red, you're okay with being at the rear with the kids?
She said BRB. So
Oh, she
I was
said
just
BRB? Okay.
Yeah, she's letting her dog out. That's why I was trying to advance it.
Well, do you guys want to go ahead and take a break then?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that works. Yeah, sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to try to get the whole group specific, but I was trying to make, because I saw that she said be right back. So
That's okay. We're close to it anyway. We can all take a break.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
All right. We'll see y'all back here soon.
All right.
Yeah.
The storm progresses, and it continues for quite some time. Lithana, if you'd be so kind as to roll a survival check for me.
Do you mind rolling that for me? My computer just crashed, but I'm still on Discord.
Oh, my. Okay. You rolled a 17.
Hey.
Hey. So, Lithana, as you're leading your companions along, it is a slog. I assume you are all on foot so that you can keep close to each other?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it is a bit miserable. It's incredibly humid. In fact, it was getting more humid the closer that storm was getting to you all.
Zito's fine with that.
Zito's like, finally.
Can't Red turn into an elephant or something so we can just all ride on her?
That's Ari.
Oh. The other
But
one.
maybe she might be able to.
Wait, could I turn Red into an elephant? Then we could all ride on her.
I don't know. Have you ever seen an elephant before?
Well, what do you want me to roll to find out?
I'll tell you what. Make an intelligence check.
Ah, my one weakness.
Aw.
Quick. I've already turned into an elephant.
How did he know my one weakness was common sense?
Yeah. It takes you a while. It's been a while since you've been on the material plane. But you do remember an elephant. You can see it in your mind's eye. The gray, wrinkled skin, color of stone, large ears, a protruding long snout that turns into a trunk, and ivory horns that protrude out as well.
Can I make it pink?
I mean, how does the spell work?
Let's see. Well, it just says I can transform it into a new form. It could be any creature, with the requirements in the challenge rating. But I don't think being pink affects its challenge rating.
Yeah, I think that would be something like cosmetic that you would have to essentially
Like a minor illusion?
Yeah, you'd have to use like an illusion to make her skin look pink.
Oh, it's getting to be rainbow then. Okay. Well, Red, are you down?
This has not seen an elephant, but she is, how do you say, down?
Excellent. Well, I don't need her to make any type of saving throw or anything because she's willing. So you're now a multicolored RGB elephant.
Are you using the spell polymorph?
Yes, I am.
She, her intelligence and all her stats drop to the stats of elephant.
Also,
Yes, but her strength and everything goes up.
what are the rules for what are the limitations I should ask for polymorph, using polymorph on a creature? Because I think there may be some limitations in terms of like increasing its size to a different form.
It just says the new form can be any beast whose challenge rating is equal to or less than the target's. So what's the challenge rating for an elephant?
That's a good question, and I will have that answer for you momentarily. That is a challenge rating 4, so it's less than hers because she's a level 10 character. So most definitely you'd be able to do this.
Yeah, because remember I polymorphed in a T-Rex.
It's true, you did.
It just has to be a beast, and it has to be like the CR rating has to be, I think, lower lower than your level, your character's level.
Well, what about a brontosaurus?
What about a brontosaurus?
That could carry everybody a lot better than an elephant.
Lithana would also pull out Humphrey and throw him in the mud and say, "Fly, fly, fly."
Fly, my pretty fly. All right, Humphrey is out. He's a bit pissed off because it's raining, and it's making it difficult, making flying difficult. His glistening membranous wings are fluttering as fast as they possibly can, fanning rain off and bobbing around. Red, here are the stats, Red, for a elephant. I hope that went through. If not, let me just share it again. There you go.
There we go.
All right. How long does this
the
form?
Elephant sound.
How long does this form last?
1 hour, but I can release it whenever I want to.
Okay.
I think it's also concentration as well.
Yeah, it is concentration. So, what would you all like to do? Lithana, you're mounting Humphrey. The rest of the group, you're clambering on. Well, I should say that in terms of the creature's size, it is very large. So with, for example, Zito jumping on the back of Humphrey with Lithana, I would say that you can all uncomfortably fit onto the back of Red as a giant pachyderm.
We'll just strap the kids onto the sides.
I assume that they're strapped in some sort of makeshift papoose on Red's back and polymorphed with her.
Holding some baby elephants under my neck.
I would say that the children didn't polymorph with you. They're not considered they're not considered equipment.
Darn.
Elephants.
Well, I'll hold the babies in my trunk, like in Dumbo when she holds Dumbo in her trunk. I do that to the babies.
They're totally getting hit with rain right now and crying. It's kind of sad.
Eli will hold both of them
Are you gonna hold them?
and cast asleep.
You're casting sleep on them?
Of course.
Okay.
Good night.
What level are you rolling it at? Roll the D.
At level 1.
Okay, roll the D8 for that. I believe it's D8s. We'll see if you put them to sleep.
Oh, no. Sleep is 5d8.
Okay, roll 5d8. I'm sure that should be more than enough to put those two to sleep, but we'll find out. Oh yeah, they're both conked out. How long does that last? Or do they just stay asleep until they're woken?
They're asleep until they're woken.
Okay.
For 8 hours, I think.
Okay. And
Good night.
I assume you tuck them in your robe?
Yes.
Okay. That is a coma music.
It just means they're just going to be awake at night now.
All right. So you all charge through the mangroves, stomping through. Red, stomping through your elephant form. You have this this sense of what you were, but your intelligence is 3. So the group whoever's sitting at the front kind of has to guide you. And you don't really have any reins. I mean, you could take some time to like festoon something, or you could just tug on Red's ears to guide her.
So the person who knows how to get there doesn't know how to get there anymore.
That is a
Lithan.
that is a good point.
Oh.
But you guys were following tracks. It is raining, but you were following tracks. And Red told you, Lithana, northeast. Before she turned into the relevant.
Relevant. Yeah, Lithana will continue to follow Red's directions the best that she can.
Okay, so you're flying ahead. Zito, you're on the back of Humphrey with Lithana, or riding in front like a kid.
I think I'll be on top of Red's head. Just sprawled out, keeping her head out of the rain.
Oh, okay. So you're by yourself, Lithana. Leading the group along. Do you want to be... The tree cover is... The mangroves are... it's a short canopy. It's not a very tall canopy. The mangroves themselves are pretty tall. But the canopy itself is... It's mishmash... branches overhead crisscross, and they're waving around from the wind and the rain. You're all getting pelted with water. And you continue on. How long would you like to continue on in a northeastern direction? The spell on the Relevant lasts for an hour.
I guess for as long as the Trex was it northeast?
That was the direction that they were headed in, correct?
So I think we're just following the tracks.
Okay. I will say, Lithana, it is incredibly difficult to track tracks on the ground while you're elevated on Humphrey as he's bobbing around. It is a bit difficult. I need you to make another survival check.
Okay. What's the terrain, by the way?
A very, very soft, marshy land. It's it is a swamp. It is a swamp. Okay. There are a lot of the time, y'all are splashing through ankle deep to calf deep water. Amongst you are finding ways, natural passageways between the mangroves, this tangle of mangroves, and finding paths that crisscross and twist that way, and eventually leading in a northeastern pattern. It's strange. It almost seems as though this pathway was grown in that direction.
Well, onward, Humphrey. Keep going. You're a good fly.
Okay. So you want to continue on. The pathway continues beyond an hour. And eventually, unless music lets you all know, or unless Eli, who would also have knowledge of how polymorph works, eventually, Red, you poof back into your form, and you're no longer irrelevant.
Do they all just dogpile on top of me?
Unless they were warned, when that hour expires, you just kind of poof, and everyone falls splat into the mud and the muck.
Did you warn them?
I'm going to say for comedic effect, you get to know exactly how long it was, if it was an hour or not, so you all just kind of splat into the mud. So there's as you look back, Lithana, you realize that your caravan has stopped, and they're all sort of piled on top of each other in the mud. You're all still getting pelted with rain. The rain has not lessened. In fact, it has been steady.
And Lithana stops. Hello?
Zita's going to reach into his bag and pull out the cleansing stone.
Okay.
And he is going to clean himself from the mud.
Okay. The stone itself, with the rain, it's a bit difficult to use it as you would normally use the cleansing stone, but you are able to watch the rivulets of just muck and dirt come off of your clothing and your belongings. It's not doing much, unfortunately, for the damp.
I'm fine with the dampness. Zita will pass the cleansing stone around so everyone else who wants to use it can use it.
Okay.
Red just licks herself.
Like a cat, like a kitty cat.
Eli casts prestidigitation on himself.
Okay.
When is this rain going to stop? Anyone know? Anyone can judge this weather? It's terrible. I hate this place. Ender.
Ender just sort of looks off into the distance, and you can see that has occasionally his hand keeps drifting to the hilt of his sword. And he looks at you, Eli, and he says, "We should be cautious."
Well, if we're all going to go on foot, I will. Are we going to continue or continue with our mounts?
Well, mount. No longer plural. Red is no longer a mount.
I could do that again, but it's not really worth it to cast again. I need to hold something back.
Sure. She'll say, "All right, Humphrey, time for you to go back to sleep."
Okay. Humphrey looks to you, nods in agreement, and then just sort of dematerializes back into that familiar-looking ebony fly statuette, and you grab it out of the air as he does so.
And I actually pick it up this time.
Red, now that she's not a dumb elephant anymore, looking around, would she see that we're still going in the right direction?
Make a survival check. Oh, yeah. It definitely seems like you're going in the right direction. The pathway of twisting mangroves that part in different areas. You can see branching pathways this way and that way. You're fairly certain that you're still going northeast.
And do I see any more? Can I do a perception to see if I see any more of the tracks around?
You can make a perception check.
11.
You're not really seeing anything, unfortunately. The rain, and it seems to be diluting the tracks. And looking around, you think you find what looks like a track. And as you get closer to it, you can see that it's actually a pile of excrement from an animal. Just like almost like a cow patty. It's spread out. You think it's a track. You go to touch it with your hand, and your hand goes plop right through it. You're not sure if it was your own excrement when you were irrelevant.
Oh no.
So I'll turn to everybody. This one thinks we're going the right way still. I feel a bit disoriented from my time as a... I look over to music. You called it the elephant?
Yes.
This one did not like their fuzzy brain.
Yeah, they have their uses. And it was a beautiful animal.
But it's good to have you back. Maybe you and I can both lead towards the front, and we can help each other. Onward and upward, I guess. And Lithana will also be on the lookout for any danger.
Okay. You guys are hearing the rain sound effects, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I got your message, Sabrina. I wasn't sure if you did. Oh, hi, Adam.
I don't mean to disturb you.
Oh no, you're not disturbing us. You missed it. Red got turned into an elephant, and you guys were riding on her back.
Who?
Red. She was an elephant.
Red? For a moment there, I thought you said bread, and I was like, bread.
Mm.
Maybe I'm bread right now. Cause of
Bread.
Bread.
Bread's good.
Do you guys want to join us? We're tracking through some mud right now.
A little more gameplay to be had. Yeah, I would like to join.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry about not being here, guys. I have no internet.
It happens. No worries.
Okay.
Eli. Eli will pull out his atlas slate
Oh, okay.
and be like, excuse me, where are we?
Okay. Do you remember what the Atlas Slate does, Eli? I believe you bought one a long time ago.
Yes, isn't it like a portable hand device?
I think it only works in Charm.
Actually, it works anywhere.
Yeah, I found that out too. I thought it only worked in Sharn. Until, hint, hint, the Eli would know that it works everywhere. And he'd be totally using it all the time.
So it's a 5x7-inch thin piece of flexible crystal, and it's dark green with gold accents and bright light. And right now, because of the rain and the tree cover of the mangroves, these giant mangrove life trees, it's glowing a brilliant amber color and it has silver accents. And it responds to your touch and to your thought, showing you important areas of interest. Ordinarily, it would show you areas of interest in Sharn, but as you take it out, it begins to recalibrate to where you are now. And it starts to show you a topographical map of where you are.
Lithana gasps for a second.
Oh, you definitely recognize it, Lithana. And with what happened yesterday, you are coming to a realization about it.
Lithana immediately, slaps Eli's hand so it falls on the ground.
Okay. And it falls into the mud, unless, Eli, you'd like to make a dexterity check to attempt to get away from that.
It doesn't fall, telekinesis.
Okay.
Loads back up. It starts floating.
So you slap it, and it starts to drop a bit, and then you watch as it begins to float back up in front of Eli. He's no longer holding it. He's just looking at it. And Eli, this is kind of unusual. Lithana's never done this before.
What the heck, man? I'm trying to find where we are. Obviously, we're lost. We are lost.
Lithana looks him straight in the eye and said, "Do not use that thing."
Why? I got it. It is. Everyone has one in Shard.
Yes. It's not what it seems. It's mind control. Drop it right now.
As you continue to look at it, Lithana, The device itself is semi-opaque, and you can see the from looking at it from the other side. Eli looking at it straight ahead. You looking at it from behind. You can see a familiar logo of a lidless eye and an upside down teardrop that begins to form in the amber crystal.
I will
And
put
the
it back in the bag.
eye winks at you.
When he tries to take it back, she's going to take it back from him and smash it on the ground.
Okay. I think at this point, this would be a contested checks to grab a hold of it.
It's floating.
So let's see. This would be Dex versus Dex. Let's see if you can grab it.
It's floating.
It is floating.
Check or save?
Make a check. Make a dexterity check.
Dang it.
You're making it float away, correct, Eli?
Yeah, I'll have it float back into the bag.
Okay, before you can do that, Lathana snatches it with one of her hands out of the air, and she's holding it. And has this look of desperation in her eyes. You watch as Lathana begins to smash it on the ground.
How's she smash? Does she throw it on the ground? It's gonna pick back up.
That's up to her, Lathana. What would you like to do with it?
Let's see.
The rest of you are all watching this exchange between Lathana and Eli.
I don't know. She's just gonna try to smash it with her foot or her bow or her scimitar. She's kind of crazy right now. She seems not quite
Okay. Oh, I will say that you are undecided. You're holding on to it. Eli, what would you like to do?
It will float away.
Okay, she is holding on to it. So you're attempting to use it. It's not floating away. She's holding on to it with her hands. Your telekinesis would unfortunately not be strong enough to pull it out of her grasp.
Eli will reach up and grab it from her.
Okay. Eli reaches over to grab it. Do you take it forcefully, or are you taking it as a friend?
I want my slate back. She stole my iPod.
Your iPad?
What's it made out of?
It appears to be made out of a thin piece of flexible crystal, and it has like this metal frame around it.
I'm gonna yell, kids, stop and cast heat metal.
Okay. You cast heat metal, and the two of you take a little bit of damage. However much that damage is. I believe they have to make a save, do they not?
Let's see.
And to catch you up
No.
on what's... No?
No, if they're holding it, they're in trouble.
Oh, okay.
Wait, hold on.
How much damage are we talking?
Wow, 2d8. Whoops.
Okay.
Counterspell.
Oh my gosh.
I think you're a little
I
bit
think-
concentrated on her right now.
Yeah, I think unless we're rolling initiative, I don't think you'd be able to counterspell it.
Counterspell is instantaneous and it takes one reaction.
Yes, but
It does not have to be on my turn. I can just look at him and counter it. The
Okay.
moment he starts casting.
If you noticed it. Let's roll initiative.
The initiative doesn't matter. The fact that, again, like I said, it's a reaction. It doesn't have to be on my turn.
Okay. All right. You're countering it?
The moment he says, and looks angry at me.
What level are you casting counterspell at?
The lowest level is 3rd.
Okay.
Oh, it's like that, huh? Okay. I'm gonna provide. I'm gonna provide Latana with inspiration.
So
Get her spell this, buddy.
So music. I believe you have to make a check, correct, Eli?
For inspiration.
No, for his counter spell.
It instantly fades because counter beats his spell level.
Oh, okay. So the heat metal is too low for counter spell to need a save.
Yes, if heat metal is a third level or no, a fourth level or higher, then yes, I'd have to save.
Okay. Music, is your heat metal lower than that?
Yeah, it is. It's
okay.
Level 1 spell.
Music begins to pronounce and enunciate the incantations for heat metal, and there is this look, Eli, as you stare in his direction, and with one hand you make a sign, and there's this spark of arcane energy, and music, your spell fades like that. And at this point, what would you all like to do? Because I think we're about to go into an initiative.
No, I'm just providing Latana with inspiration now.
Okay. Well, that's what I meant, is if we're doing anything further, then we would most definitely be going into an initiative. So what are you guys doing?
I'm trying to take my iPad back.
Okay, so this is a contested strength check?
Yes.
Okay, so I need you both to roll a strength check. If Lathana, if you're continuing to try to wrestle it from him. Eli snatches it out of your hands, and you watch in desperation as he shoves it into his bag of holding.
What the heck? This is mine.
It's mind control. They're putting it out for everyone. They're trying to take over. Oh, this is not the right time to... Don't use it, please.
Actually, if that's true, I can counter mind control effects. Just let me play a song while Eli looks at it, and any type of mind control will be countered.
Oh, see? Then we want to be lost.
Lathana, you look at your companions with desperation in your voice and just this feeling of defeat as they don't seem to quite understand what you're trying to tell them. They can't quite fathom what you're referring to.
She just kind of sighs defeatedly. Yeah, just do that. Sure. I mean, we need to get to where we're going, so...
Let's see, who has the highest passive perception? Do.
Oh yeah, we're making tons of noise.
That'd be
there ain't no stealthing now.
Auri, Ender, and Lathana would hear somewhere off in the distance a cacophony of crunching noises through the rain. And the rain is now starting to fade a bit. It's starting to calm. The occasional lightning strike, but it's calming down, and eventually it feels like it's starting to taper off, like it might start to end. As you're sitting there hearing these sounds, the crunching, you can now hear them because the rain has ceased this tumultuous downpour, and you're now hearing these sounds of crunching of some sort echoing through the trees. Somewhere off in the distance, it's a strange, loud, crunching noise, like an echoing, crunching noise.
Like a tall humanoid stomping through the mud crunching, or a little squirrel chewing on an acorn crunching?
Just craning your neck to listen to it, you're not quite sure.
Squirrel or giant?
Whatever it is, it's loud. Loud enough that it's With the rain subsiding, you can hear it echoing through the mangroves. What would you all like to do?
She just kind of puts a hand on her head and she's like, "Go, music, Eli, do your thing, whatever."
So Ender and Auri now looking, they're hearing the sound. They're looking to you, Lithana. You've heard the sound as well. Ender says, "There's something out there. Something in the wood."
Say no more.
And his hand drifts down to the hilt of his sword. And I would like all of you to make stealth checks, please. As you move through the brush. I assume you're moving towards the sound?
Is that disadvantage or?
It would be disadvantage for him. Yes, music, please. Because you are glowing like a... yeah, you're glowing like a glow stick.
No, I was saying for the whole group because we were kind of being loud earlier.
Oh, yeah, totally disadvantage for everyone.
I mean, just to be fair, because we were like, I mean, Eli was being loud. I mean,
Yeah.
I want my iPad back.
I'm not moving towards it unless everybody else is. I'm sitting still.
Yeah, I was going to say that's advantage, Lithana.
Yeah, she has advantage because of her cloak of elven kind, so it would just be straight.
Yeah, it would just be
roll.
straight
So-
roll. No worries.
So it could be a 15 plus 8, so
Okay.
that's still above 20.
That's still pretty high.
For Red, for her one of her totems, it says she can move stealthily when she's moving at a normal pace. So would I just be normal for that? It's not. It doesn't really specify. Besides, it just says move stealthily while traveling at a normal pace.
You'd still roll a stealth check.
I mean, yeah, but would it
Yeah.
be just straight?
Yeah, I would say that it would just be a straight roll for you, but for those of you that were making so much noise, not so much. And music rolls a disadvantage because he is lit up like a light bright.
I don't know. At a 16, I'm pretty well hidden. I went straight up predator style and jumped in the mud.
Music just starts rolling around in the mud, slathering it all over himself. All right. You are all in the same order, correct? Or have you changed?
Same.
Okay. Are you all moving towards the sound now, or what are you doing?
Yes. Lithana has her bow drawn.
Okay. All right. So as you're traveling towards the sound now, you're all attempting to be as stealthy as possible. You hear this cacophony of loud crunching and chewing noises that can be heard echoing through the underbrush. Something is eating something. At least that's what it sounds like to you. Yeah, what are you guys doing, Eli? As he yells.
Eli talks very loudly. What are we doing, guys? What's going on?
The crunching noises cease. And you all hear a hushed voice say, "Ooh, what was that?" And there's a smell of cooking meat that is filling your nostrils now, wafting through the tree cover.
As an action, Zito's going to call forth his familiar and have it go ahead.
Okay.
And Lithana would look towards Eli and put her finger to her mouth. Say shh.
Okay. Zito, as your familiar begins to... you're flying up into the canopy over towards the sounds.
Yes.
Okay. As it begins to fly up, your familiar gets caught in the brambles and the tree cover, and then it's gone. Like something happened to it. Before you could see anything, like as it was getting ready to break through the tree cover, you just see a shadow go across your eyesight, and it's gone. And now the rain is starting to subside around you all.
I really gotta stop sending all those things out. Things get me bankrupt. Yeah, there goes that idea.
And you're just hearing the sounds of the swamp around you as the sound of the rain subsides, as it is now ceasing. And you can just hear the bugs, the buzzing, the sound of frogs. Are you all continuing in that direction? Are you halting? What are you doing?
What's everyone up front doing?
I believe we should halt and just be quiet and listen.
Okay, you're saying that out loud. The person who's leading is Lithana. Lithana, what were you doing? As Zito, somewhere behind you, was doing something. Eli was talking very loudly. You, Ender, and Auri, and half of you, almost all of you, heard the sound of some guttural voice calling out, and then it stopped talking.
Lithana would move forward a bit to see if she can get a quick look. She will stealth.
Are you moving ahead of your friends? Are you telling them to stay behind, or are they coming with?
She will kind of put her hand out, like to say stop, stay, and she will move forward very quietly.
Okay, so you're going by yourself.
Yes. How far did that voice sound to her?
You're not sure. It did sound. It sort of bellowed out, even though it sounded like whoever it was trying to be quiet. It did sound like this person was talking almost as loud as Eli. And then it stopped. And as you're moving through the brush towards the sound, through the brambles, you can see now that the underbrush opens up into a small clearing. And that smell of cooking meat is filling your nostrils now. You see a large ramshackle building framed by thick, twisted trees and bushes in this clearing. And you can see now these hulking individuals. One is seated on a log. Another one is standing up and is looking around and is scratching its butt. And there's one that's almost as big as them, but a little bit smaller, just slightly smaller, who is seated on the ground next to the one that is seated. And you can see that the one that is seated is continuing to crunch and chew on something, some meat of some sort. And this thing is looking in your direction.
Does it see me?
Make a stealth check. We'll see. That's okay. It rolled a 3. So you watch as this creature continues to scratch its hindquarters, looking around stupidly. You hearing the sounds of the swamp around you, and you can see just beyond these hulking creatures, just outside of what you can see is some sort of a pole with a gilded cage hanging off of it, and you can hear a tiny little voice within that is just yelling out to and exclaiming to the creature. You can just hear it saying, "Let me go! Let me go!" And as you look just underneath the gilded cage, you can see a pile of objects. It looks like potentially like cast off armor or clothing. And this big bonfire, which these creatures are standing around, you can see that there is a pole over it with a large hunk of something, resembles a humanoid, which is on a spit, roasting over this fire. That appears to be the source of that smell that you and your companions smelled.
And there's 3 trolls. Have she seen a troll before?
This does not resemble the creature that you fought on the boat, if you're referring to the troll that tried to eat Zito.
Ah.
This is much larger. Hulking creatures.
And there's 3.
And you're flashing back to a time traveling on the road with your companions. These look suspiciously like ogres.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Lithana will creep back a bit and yeah, that's the key. She's actually going to go back to the party.
Okay, make a stealth check.
Stealthily. Oh my gosh.
That was 2 20s in a row, guys. She rolled 2 20s in a row. And you can hear the pleas of that, whatever that is, the small, tiny little creature inside of that cage, which is yelling and echoing as you slink back to your companions, just beyond the twist of the mangroves.
And she's going to kind of motion her hand for everyone to come close.
Okay.
And she says, there's 3 swamp ogres. And they're eating humanoids and roasting them over a fire. I don't know whether they would be considered forest or swamp creatures or not. If they are, we probably want to keep going. I can cast Pass Without a Trace so that we can be a bit stealthier. And she looks over at Eli.
Well, I can tell you that in answer to Eli's question, I assume you're asking the DM, Derek, and not the group.
Yes, or like Eli's knowledge. Would Eli have a knowledge of that?
Ogres are not beasts.
Monster. Blech.
They are giants.
Okay, that's what I was just making sure. All right, so Eli.
So you relay what you observed to the rest of the party. What would you all? How would you all like to respond to this? Zito, I believe you were about to say something.
And saying, like, if you don't want to fight them, maybe we can sneak in there. You said they were eating people, right? Are there any others that are alive?
I saw at least one person.
Well, I think we should at least try and save that one person.
Well, I mean, I'm always down to shoot something if you guys are up to it, but we have a mission. What do you think? Red, what do you think?
This one thinks we should help.
Eli?
I'm always down for a fight.
Music?
I don't like the idea of letting ogres roam free. Let's go ahead and finish them off.
A little smile kind of perks up in the corners of Lithana's mouth. She's like, good. I'm really in the mood to kill something right now. And she will cast Pass Without a Trace over everyone.
Okay.
Get me into range of them, and I can open up and actually bane all of them up front. It'll help all of us.
And I could open up with a fireball.
All right. Well, you want to all go ahead and roll stealth for me after you do your pass without trace on everyone.
I don't think I can cast it. Just add plus 10 to your dex.
To plus 10 to your modifier, I believe.
Just stealth. To your stealth.
Yeah, you can just type in the little box in the bottom there. If you just type a 10 in there and roll, it'll automatically adjust. There you go, Red.
Natural 1, and I got a 22.
How do you have a plus? Oh my gosh. You have like a plus 11 in stealth?
Yes.
Dang.
I have a plus 13 in persuasion. I could probably go in there and just talk to him.
So you were all getting into position?
I rolled a natural 1. I've already stumbled out there.
Okay. So music, you trip over a root, and there's just this loud, fuck, as you land and nearly knock over one of your companions in your current order. You nearly knock into Owry. Red, you are helpless as you watch music tumble over. And you hear this this sound of something go from the direction what you have heard and have been hearing sounds from beyond the mangroves. And you're all coming up on this place. Let me share a map with you guys. And I will. So you all get a surprise round on these creatures, except for music.
So, getting up.
So let me put them on the map. And then I will put you guys on the map, and you can position yourselves on the map wherever you would like. Go ahead and position yourselves on the outskirts towards the bottom of the map. Or I would say the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Go ahead and position yourselves. I will say that's the edge of the tree cover. As you're all positioning yourselves and getting closer so that you could see these creatures and take an action. No, I meant the bottom right-hand corner, not the middle of the map. And if you would all be so kind as to roll initiative. We'll say that Ender and Owry down here.
Can you get my token back on the map?
What happened to your token?
I don't know. I think something happened when the map loaded in.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
All right, so you guys are closer to that corner if you want to position yourselves over there. Say music, you're back here. We'll say
get your own shrub, Eli.
that's where you guys are all at. Creeping through the... I'm going to lock your tokens. Go ahead and take your surprise rounds. So, Red, what would you like to do in your surprise round?
I will dash 60 feet.
Okay. You're stomping through with your weapon drawn, charging forth towards the creatures.
And that's it for my turn.
Okay. Luthana, what are you doing on your surprise round?
Let's see. I would like to make myself look as invisible as possible.
Okay. How would you like to accomplish that feat? Would you like to roll stealth?
I'm kind of hiding behind a bush.
Okay. It takes your action. It takes your action to hide. Because unfortunately, you're not a rogue.
I use my bonus action to make my glamour weave look the same as the bush.
Okay. So you are hiding. Go ahead and roll stealth. We'll say with advantage since you're trying. Well, yeah. Go ahead and roll with advantage. We'll see. I think you already roll with advantage if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Plus 10. Plus 10.
Plus 10. So 24. All right. That's all you're doing?
That uses... Yeah, that's my action, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Eli, it's your turn. What are you doing, sir? Hello, Eli.
Eli will step up a bit. Sorry, I forgot that I had push to talk on.
That's okay.
I'm getting used to it. Okay. Eli can't see Lathana at all, right?
You do not see Luthana unless... Well, what's your passive?
Not very good. Like 13 or 11.
Yeah, you don't... It's 10. You don't see her.
Yeah, I was gonna say. From that point, Eli will look. Can I see them?
Oh yeah, you can totally see them. As the
Eli.
it's not dim light. It's filtered light. It's not like bright daylight, I guess you would say. It is the afternoon, so there is bright light, but it's filtered by the trees, so you're not in darkness, so you can see them. Plus, there's a big bonfire right there. It's a huge roaring bonfire.
Eli will scream out, "I'm gonna turn up the heat!" and then cast Fireball.
Casting Fireball, okay.
Right, yes. Right here.
Okay. Believe you'll have to cast it to, after you... Yep. Chunk, Thunk, and Cletus. Alright, looks like that's 3 failures. As they each take 24 fire damage as this brilliant sphere of fire erupts. And you just watch as they... And you just hear them... As they're now starting to, like, regain their composure, looking around. Is that the end of your turn, Eli?
Yeah, Eli will end his turn there.
All right. Zito, it's your turn. This fireball just erupted in the space where those creatures are.
All right, Zito is going to pull out his turret.
Okay.
No.
As your bonus action, you throw out your turret in front of you?
That's my action.
Oh, that is your action? Okay. That's all
And
you're
it's
doing?
a bonus action to fire it.
Okay. Are you going to fire it?
Yeah, it's buried in here. I gotta pull it over.
Okay. On Auri's turn, Auri is looking determined. We'll just say that Auri turns into a polar bear. How about that? and she is going to run forward. And you blast and hit Chunk with your cannon, dealing 9 force damage to the creature. On Ender's turn, he is going to draw his long sword of sharpness, his katana, his new katana, and he is going to rush forth as far as he possibly can. And that's the surprise round. And let me play some music for you guys. And hopefully that's playing for you guys. Eli, it's your turn again. Eli, you hear a diminutive voice yell out, "Watch out! Others are lurking nearby!"
Oh crap. Eli will cast Big B's Hand.
Big B's Hand, okay. Big B's Hand.
Big B's Hand. 60 feet away from Chuck. Or Chunk, or whatever. Yeah.
There you go. You can move that token where you wish.
So it opens up right there.
Okay.
It opens up, and it goes 30 feet. Fisted. Boom! Right in the face.
Okay. This giant purple fist flies across and then punches the ogre in the face. Chunk takes... And you deal 18 magical force damage to the creature.
And it gives him the middle finger.
Okay. Lithana, it is. I believe it's your turn, unless you have something else you'd like to do, Eli.
No, I was going to have my turn right there.
Okay. Lithana, you are currently stealthed in the bush. You are the bush.
I am the bush, and the bush is me.
And you are the bush, and the bush is you. Don't get bushy.
I thought I would cast Hunter's Mark on Chunk,
Okay.
and she will take her 3 attacks.
Go for it. Those are all at advantage because you are... Well, the first one at least is at advantage because you're stealth.
Cool. Then I will take a... I will use my sharpshooter and take a -10.
-10, okay. Or is it -5 or... Is it -5 or -10? Gotcha. I don't think you've targeted... I don't think you've targeted him yet. There you go.
Alright. Yep.
That's a hit.
A...
Your arrow flies true, catching Chunk in the eye as he tumbles backwards over the log that he was once sitting on. Quite dead.
Okay. I look towards Thunk, and I prepared... I'd shoot no Hunter's Mark.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's still there. Your Hunter's Mark is still, like, there. It's concentration. You haven't failed concentration.
I have to use a bonus action to move it.
Gotcha.
I don't have a bonus action.
No worries. Well, you did hit him, and you deal 13 piercing magical damage with your bow. And you strike true once again with a 16, dealing 8 piercing magical damage.
And that's the end of my turn. I would go back to being a bush.
You go back to being a bush? Okay.
Yes.
As you're all, like, rushing forth into the fray, reacting to Eli casting his spell, Zito throwing out his Pokeball and firing at one of the creatures, felled one of them. and you all hear a voice echoing out that says, "Travelers, please calm yourselves. I am the guardian of the Deepwood, and I demand you leave this place at once." And you all see a very, very large spider, which is descending down on a web with a halfling seated into a saddle on its back. And the halfling is holding a glaive that's halfling sized. What are you all doing?
Would Red have know of this guardian of the Deepwood that he claims to be?
Well, it's a female halfling, at least from the sound of the voice. You're not sure.
Okay, so I've never heard that before.
No. What are you guys doing? Are you giving pause? Are you continuing?
I'm not stopping until somebody tells me to.
You want us to wait till our turn to talk, or do you want us to?
Well, it's descending down, so it's essentially using its turn to descend down on the back of this creature. This enormous creature, which you can now see this very, very large spider that looks like this. Just ignore the gray-skinned dwarf on its back.
Oh my gosh.
Cute.
You just see this spiny-backed spider, and each of its legs is covered in filament, large, hairy legs, as it's descending down and plops onto the ground with this creature on its back. And that is its turn.
Oh, God.
I believe. Yeah, no. So Cletus is putting himself out still. Music, it is your turn.
Okay, which one's the spider? Which one's the halfling?
Here, let me move the halfling a little bit so you can see it.
I see it now. "265 feet away from me, is that right?"
Probably not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not right. Let's see. It's more like 110 feet away from you.
Oh, only 110?
Yeah, it's only like 110 feet.
I need to know for sure.
Technically,
not
it's
past 120, right?
Yeah. Technically, it's like 115.
Cool.
What would you like to do? So you just see this great.
Kind of madness.
Oh, it fails.
Stab that spider in the head.
Okay. You just watch as the creature takes its glaive and strikes at the spider that it's sitting on and misses.
Oh well. I'll end my turn.
Okay, so it's got Crown of Madness on it right now, correct?
Yes, and I'm holding my reaction.
Okay. Red, it is your turn.
Alright. Okay, so that has Crown of Madness. I'm gonna start heading towards Thunk.
Okay.
So I will dash up to him, and that'll be my turn.
That'll be your turn. All right.
And I'll
Zeta-
rage is a bonus action, actually.
Oh, okay. I'll turn your rage on. There you go. Red is very nettled. And Zito, it's your turn. You hear this halfling that just called out, and then suddenly there's this sparkling effect around it. Music struck some sort of discordant chord from his one of his various musical instruments, and you just watch as this halfling tries to stab its own mount in the head.
Well, I don't know what it's doing now, but Zito's gonna hold off for now. He's not going to attack, but he's going to get into a position where he can fight if he has to.
Okay. And on Ender's turn.
As his bonus act,
Oh, sorry.
he's gonna be deterred up 15 feet,
Okay.
and that'll be my turn.
That'll be your turn. All right. Ender is going to continue to run as fast as he possibly can, trying to back up his companion, Red. And Auri, in her bear form, she will do the same. Whoops. Rushing forth as far as she possibly can to back up Red and Ender. And on Thunk's turn, Thunk, seeing Red rushing towards him, is going to... let's see. Thunk reaches out, grabs the log he was sitting on, pulls it up, and attempts to bash you with it, Red. You just watch as he just... boom, and you just manage to move out of the way as it bashes it down, trying to bludgeon you with this log it was sitting on. And Lathana, it is your turn.
Does Lithana know whether the spider is a beast? Hello?
I would say that you would not know. You've never encountered one before that looks like this. You've heard of giant spiders before. Yeah, just about anyone who is a ranger and who has traveled the realm. Make an intelligence check.
Okay.
As you're studying it, trying to decide your next point of action. We'll say this is your free interaction with the environment. This is something that you have seen in the Underdark, in Kyber. They are essentially beasts of burden that prowl Kyber, and are usually used as beasts of burden and mounts for creatures that live in the Underdark. And you would also know that this one appears to be much larger, possibly a female.
So it's not native to this area?
Oh no.
Alright, she'll go shoot Thunk.
She'll go shoot Thunk? Okay. Alright, you're no longer stealthing, you're just firing away at will with your... Did you want to move your hunter's mark onto Thunk?
Yes.
Go for it.
I mean, she'll still try to... She's just trying not to shoot Ari.
I totally understand. I mean, you don't get, like, disadvantage because of you're a BA, you know.
Sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Alright, she'll take a shot.
Go for it. 17 most definitely hits as you fire and find it right between his eyes. Red, after this creature grabbed the seat it was sitting on and tried to pummel you with it, you watch as an arrow suddenly appears out of nowhere and catches him right between his eyes, and he slumps down dead in front of you.
Lithana will end her turn.
Okay.
There.
All right.
Actually, she'll whisper to Eli, "What do you think is going on?" Because she only used one attack, so.
Okay. That would have been your. Unfortunately, you wouldn't really have been able to just whisper that to him. Essentially, your free action was trying to determine what that spider was.
Gotcha.
So as you were firing your arrow, you could start to say that to him. He wouldn't necessarily be able to respond to you though, until his turn.
Oh.
On the female steeder's turn, it starts to skitter in your direction, Eli. And let's see. Oh gosh. Let's see how far away you are. Oh yeah. So Eli, you're seeing this enormous creature from a distance, and it suddenly leaps and lands right next to you. With the halfling still on its back, looking dazed. And that's all it can do on its turn. Music, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm going to move towards there.
Okay.
And I can cast other spells while I'm maintaining this.
As long as it's not a concentration spell, you can cast other spells that are non-concentration spells, if I'm not mistaken. Unless the spell says otherwise. The spell may prevent you from doing so if it says that you have to use your action to do something. And I believe Crown of Madness forces you to use your action. So it prevents you from doing other things. But let's find out.
Let's do it.
Let's see. On your turns, you must use your action to maintain control.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to maintain it, if you want to continue that Crown of Madness on it, then unfortunately you'll have to continue using your action. But you still have your movement, which you used.
Yeah, and I will maintain that. Did the spider attack Eli yet?
It has not. It had landed in front of Eli. It did an extraordinary leap over to where Eli is from where it was on the ground. You've never seen something leap that far before.
All right, I'm keeping my reaction available just in case.
Okay. So you're not doing anything else?
Nope, ending my turn.
Okay. All right. On the creature's turn, does it do anything while it is charmed?
Stab that spider in the head.
Okay, he's going to try to stab it again. And it hits this time.
Critical.
It's a critical?
Was that a natural 20?
Nope, that wasn't a natural 20. It was a 13 plus 7.
Oh, well.
That's okay. It's still a heavy attack, though. That's 9 magical slashing damage. And I actually, it only takes one attack, or does if it's a multi-attack creature, does it attack with the second attack? Because I should have hit it twice on that first round.
It just says it has to make one attack against.
Okay, so just the one. Gotcha. Okay, and I need to make a Wisdom save, correct?
That is correct. It's DC 17.
DC 17. Wisdom saving throw. It rolled a 17.
Well, shit.
So it is no longer under the throes of your thing. Excuse me, your thing.
Once.
Yeah, if it meets your DC, then it ends.
Damage roll, ability check, or damage roll. Attack roll, ability check, or damage roll. I was just looking to see if I can add a negative to his DC check, but no, I can't.
No, that's okay. Let's
It's
see.
not okay.
I mean, but it is. It's gonna be all right.
No, it ain't. That was a 2nd level spell for non-damage.
Hey, you know what? It's still 9 damage.
I ought to kill myself.
All right, so the halfling shakes her head, looks down, looks around, sees that it has plunged its glaive into its spider, and then looks around and you just hear this guttural voice. You will all die. And its form starts to shimmer. And that's it.
Okay.
On Auri's turn, Auri is going to rush around the campfire and is going to go after Cletus. Hey, Cletus, how's it going? I don't know why I have Auri targeted. I should only be targeting Cletus. And slashing and hitting Cletus. Or excuse me, that was the bite. Biting into Cletus's side. You just watch as Auri just mauls what was left of this half-giant creature. And is now turning around and looking around, stomping down on the dead form of the creature. And Zito, it's your turn.
Alright, Zito is going to cast Ray of Enfeeblement on the spider.
On the spider? Okay,
Or the-
go for it. Hits.
Alright, and as a bonus action, I'm going to shoot the halfling with the turret.
Go for it. You're still targeting the steeder, by the way. There you go. That's a hit. 23 definitely hits. As you deal 6 force damage to the creature. It seems to glance off the edge of the glaive as it's pulling the glaive out of the back of the steeder, the giant spider. And you just hear it just let out this exclaim, "Oh!" Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Eli, it is your turn. What would you like to do? There's a giant spider in your face. Its hairy legs are creeping ever so closer to you, like reaching out to touch you.
Eli, look at this.
Its fangs are dripping with venom.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stay around. I'm gonna cast Misty Step.
Okay. You're casting Misty Step?
Yes.
Counterspell. You stay right where you're at. The halfling looks at you with its free hand, makes the same symbol you made earlier to counterspell music, and you stay right where you're at. It looks down at you with a burning fire in its eyes.
Oh, you want to play games? I see. My bonus action, Big Meek Hand.
So you're moving Bigby's hand over there?
Yes, a giant
Okay.
fist.
Okay.
And I will end my turn right there.
Okay. Red, it is your turn. The ogre has been crunched, defeated, laying out splayed before you. An arrow stuck right between its eyes. Auri in polar bear form jumped over and just demolished the other lesser sized ogre that was there between the two. And with your passive perception, Red, you are hearing something coming from just beyond the squeaking voice of that that creature that's inside of the cage. You can hear something stirring from within that ramshackle building. Something you just hear.
Okay. And do I still see the person over the spit?
Yes, it's a very, very fed upon char-broiled corpse of a shifter.
Well, I'll go towards the hut then.
Okay. And as you said you're going to go towards the hut?
Yeah.
Okay, as you do, an enormous ogre bashes through the doors. Not so much doors as like a heavy reed-like curtain. It just bashes it open and begins stepping out, looking at you with fanged teeth. And you can see these thick, ropey tendrils that look like muscle or sinew, but they're coming out of the body through openings and going back into the body and crisscrossing in and out of the arms, these bulbous, sinewy, enormous earthworm-like tentacles that come out of its hands right around the palm through holes, horrifying looking holes, and it is looking at you.
All right. So I will attack him.
Well, I was going to say that was the end of your turn, right? This is what happened at the end. That was at the end of your turn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I have 40 feet of movement, but...
Yeah, you can if you continued to move in, what were you going to do before he emerged? I apologize. I kind of stepped all over it. I'm sorry.
I was just going up to the entrance. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, he just sort of said hi.
Okay.
So if you want, you can move up right next to him. Or you can stay where you're at. It's up to you.
I'll just stay there. It's fine.
Okay. All right. I believe Ender's turn. Ender is going to see that there's a new threat. He is going to rush with his full movement to get next to him with you, to help you out, Red, back you up. And let's see. Music, it is your turn again.
Well enough. All right, I'm going to cast Bane.
Bane, do it. All right, the steeder fails. The unidentified halfling succeeds, though.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to move back slightly.
Okay.
To there.
All right. Is that the end of your turn?
That will be the end, and as always, I'm holding my reaction.
Okay. So you all start to hear as music makes the sounds, uses as a musical instrument to call forth and cast the spell onto the large female steeder, giant spider creature. You all hear disturbances coming from overhead in the canopy around you, as suddenly more of these spider creatures are now leaping out of the canopy of the trees and landing randomly all around you. So the first one lands. That's all it can do on its turn. The other one lands. Lithana, it is your turn. More of these spider creatures are appearing. You see a large one which is bearing down on Eli, and the halfling is sitting on its back, looking at him with malice in her eyes. And you can also see a giant purple fist looking like it's getting ready to do something right behind her.
Lithana will attempt to stealth.
Attempt to stealth.
Yes.
Are you trying to use your action to hide? There's plenty of bushes around. If you want to wait, use your turn to try and hide, you can. It's up to you.
Oh, I don't want to hide. I just want to back a bit.
Okay.
Well, can't leave our friendly neighborhood wizard alone, can I? That's
But you-
okay.
But you did.
It's better if I'm alive. I can get him back again. We're
That's
both
okay.
down. Okay. So I would target the halfling.
Target the halfling.
Yes.
Go for
I
it.
would start over.
Sorry, what did you say? I couldn't understand what you said.
Sorry, I will move my hunter's mark over.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Sorry.
Okay, so you're attacking said creature?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're just firing an arrow at it?
I will find this.
Okay.
Sharpshooter.
All right, as you fire your arrow, your arrow goes wide, unfortunately, passing through the spectral purple hand.
Ew.
Is that the end of your turn?
I will target the spider then.
Go for it.
I think it's on.
I'm
It's on
sorry.
twice now, so
What was that?
hunter's mark's on twice now.
Yeah. I think you dropped it on yourself again. I took it off. That's a hit. 21 definitely hits as you deal 14 piercing magical damage to the giant spider.
That's the end of my turn. I will look very curiously at the creature.
Okay. And you definitely heard the thunking noises of the creatures landing from the canopy onto the ground. As you glance around to your left, you can see smaller versions of this spider have apparently leapt out from the tree cover onto the ground.
All right.
Okay. Auri is going to rush forth and attempt to assist her companions attacking this creature called Big Daddy. Attempting to critically hitting Big Daddy as she bites into the ogre's skin, dealing 10 piercing critical damage, and then slashing with her claws into Big Daddy, and again hitting, dealing 10 slashing damage to the creature. And on Ender's turn, he will assist as well, doing a similar fashion with his longsword of sharpness. Man, Ender and Auri are missing all this awesomeness, guys. I believe he can attack twice, if I'm not mistaken. Does that sound right?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Just gonna do 2 attacks. And you guys start to hear more rustling coming from overhead as more of these spiders begin landing. Another one lands not too far away from you and Zito and you, Music.
Okay.
And on Big Daddy's turn, Big Daddy is going to attempt to slash first at Auri. I guess I should put Auri's extra hit points on her. There we go. Temporary hit points. And just, oh, that's an automatic miss. Oops. Big Daddy's not doing too great. And then tries to bite Auri, but actually manages to hit. Dealing 9 piercing damages, bites into Auri's hide. Red, it is your turn. You just watch as this horrifying ogre with tentacles writhing and piercing in and out of its arms in a strange fashion, and it's now whipping at and biting at Auri.
Alright, so I'll swing with my great sword recklessly
Okay.
at it.
Reckless. That is a hit.
Alright.
As you deal 16 magical slashing damage to the creature.
And I'll do that again recklessly.
25 most definitely hits. As you lop the creature's head off, bilious black blood spurting out of its neck like a fountain, its arm tentacles writhing as its body tips over into half in, half out of the ramshackle cottage. And you can just see the tentacles writhing like they're still alive.
And if Red moves up like to the doorway he came out of, does she see any more anything else inside the hut?
You see a pile of crushed and broken bones.
Yep. So I'll move 30 feet back from where we came.
Okay. And that's the end of your turn?
Yeah.
All right. As you do so, more sounds of disruption coming from the canopy as 3 more of those spiders leap down, thump, 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 onto the soft peat earth. And Zito, it is your turn.
Alright. Zito is going to pull out his wand and cast Firebolt at the nearest strider.
Go for it. And it is 10 o'clock, guys. This will be the last round. That is a hit. As you deal heavy 9 damage to the creature, you can see that your firebolt catches it momentarily alight, burning several of the hairs off one of its legs. And it screeches in pain.
Oh, sorry, that was supposed to be force damage, but it's the same amount.
I was going to say, that's a firebolt, so that's a fire damage.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking of my turret.
Nope.
Sorry.
You cast firebolt,
Yep.
sorry.
No, bonus action. Bonus action is going to be my turret.
Go for it. That is unfortunately a miss.
Alright, I'll end my turn there.
Okay. As you do, another one of those spiders flies out and thunks behind the larger spider. Eli, you just see as another one of those bit smaller spiders, hideous creatures, leaps from out of the canopy. Its legs spread out and in a grasping motion, and it lands cat-like on the ground. On the halfling's turn, the halfling's form has been shimmering, and you watch as it floats up 30 feet off of the saddle, and we'll just put her, we'll say she's there. And you watch as the halfling suddenly distends. The body distends and morphs, and you see a blue-skinned, silver-haired creature. And its glaive enlarges with its form, and as it spins its double-sided glaive around, pointing down at you. And the female steeder is going to attempt to attack you. Eli. It attempts to bite
Ow. Ow.
I'm gonna use cutting words and give it a negative to that attack.
you. Oh, well, it missed.
Okay, well I don't have to then.
You don't have to. Eli, it is your turn.
Eli looks at them and cast Cone of Cold.
Cone of Cold.
Die in a frozen death.
Okay, what are you casting? You're casting at the spider or at her? She's 30 feet up in the air.
It's a 65-foot cone.
It's a 65-foot cone, not a cylinder. So the cone is coming out from you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's hitting the female Steeder, correct?
I'm trying to aim at her.
You're trying to aim at her?
Spider.
Okay, counterspell.
Oh, at level.
What level is your spell?
5th level.
5th level. Okay, so it needs to make was it an Arcana check? Correct?
Yes.
Let's see. Boo, 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 boo.
I'd like to use cutting words to give her a negative to that combat check.
How many times can you use cutting words?
I can currently use it 5 times, sir.
Nice.
And I can't use it until after the roll has been made, so the first one didn't count.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Arts.
It failed, so your Cone of Cold goes off.
Good, let's go.
Nice.
Jeremy trying to hardcore just jerk me. I like it.
There's a bard in the group.
Is there a way to hit her and the spider or just her?
Well, describe
Like, how
to
big
me-
is a cone? I don't know. Like it doesn't really tell me how big the cone is. It just says a 65-foot cone.
The 65, like that's the range, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't say how tall the cone is.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, so I would say that you're only hitting the spider.
Okay. Well, I was aiming at her.
You're aiming at her, not the spider. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I would say that from
I
where
was
you
trying to get both, but if I
would
can only
say
hit
that-
one, I'm definitely
No,
hitting her.
I would say with your close proximity to this spider, as big as it is, you could totally hit both of them.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to target both of them, go for it. Her
You
name's
just have to go prone to do it. Get up next turn.
Okay, so the Steeder fails and Big Mama succeeds. So you freeze the spider to death, and Big Mama takes 14 damage from your Cone of cold damage from it.
And the best part is my bonus action. Bigsby's hand comes in and just socks her right in the face.
Go for it. You're gonna go fly over. You have to move it and then attack, correct? So you'd have to move. You were down on the ground, so you would have to move up 30 feet to get to her. Well, technically 35 feet.
Yeah, move 60 feet.
Gotcha.
So like it's moving to soccer.
Okay, go for it. All
Dang
right. Unfortunately, that is a miss. Is that the end of your turn, sir?
Yeah, it gives her the finger. And then,
Okay. As
I'll have my turn.
Bigsby's hand gives the giant blue-skinned, horned, silver-haired creature the finger, 3 more spiders plop onto the battlefield. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Egg.
How's everybody doing?
Good. What about you?
I am currently eating the rest of my lunch. Or dinner. Depending on your perspective.
Aw. What are you eating?
A giant burrito from Chipotle.
Ooh.
Oh,
Mm. I'm about to eat a burrito from Tijuana Flats.
Ooh.
that sounds good too.
Joke's on y'all. I had a breakfast burrito from my freezer.
Very nice.
Sorry, I feel like the ooze were getting like better and better.
God.
We had some wonton, like Chinese style baked burritos,
Yum.
dumplings. These do this in game all the time.
That's ridiculous.
This is my favorite.
Yes.
That's the guy that got hit by a giant burrito.
That was the sound of the giant burrito as I bit into it.
Whoa.
I don't know what someone in my apartment's doing, but the fire alarm keeps going off. So if I disappear, it's probably because they set my building on fire.
Oh no!
What?
Yeah, the fire alarm's been going on and off for like the past hour.
It's probably some poor college kid who's never made food in his life and burnt back macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, that's why I said if I disappear, it's because he burnt the building down.
Well, you're a strong kobold. You can do it.